officially begin, I'd like to take this opportunity to give a special shout out to someone who is graduating alongside of me today. Someone who has stood alongside of me my entire life, and that is my brother Scott. For all that he has done, that has helped me achieve my success, as well as made our community a better place, I am eternally grateful. So thanks. There are a handful of things in my life about which I am most passionate. Good food, environmentalism, and definitely chocolate. I really like chocolate. But honestly, above all, I love to learn. A simple practice we are all celebrating most appropriately today. I first started to learn long before kindergarten, long before preschool even. While it may not have come through the medium of books, or perhaps I should say illustrations and comics, I started to learn exactly 18 years, 5 months, 8 days ago. The day, I'm told at least, I was born. It was on that day that, at 12:02 p.m., I first opened my eyes, surveyed the world around me, absorbed it all, and learned the first, and perhaps still most important lesson I have ever learned. That if I cry loudly enough, my parents will give in to anything. Well, almost anything. The moment I finally learned to ride my bike without training wheels, the day I mastered my timetables up to 10 by 10, when I finally hit the baseball that wasn't sitting on top of a tee. Every time I finish a book, when a teacher says something, and I think to myself, hey, that's pretty cool. Not because it's going to, be on the test or help get me into college, but because it's actually cool. These are some of the most exciting moments of my life. The point I'm trying to make is that we are always learning by involuntary absorption. But it is only when we selectively choose to learn that we get the most out of life's experiences. Opportunities to learn will persist without pause, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for the rest of our lives. It is up to us, and us alone, to seize these opportunities for ourselves, and we should. After all, knowledge is, according to Thomas Jefferson, a lovely possession. So today, standing before you all, however lame or tedious or terribly boring it might seem, I hereby promise to learn as much as I can until the day I die. Pinky swear. Just stop for a second and ponder the rather spectacular piece of technology that is our brain. We are the only species on this planet that can gather, store, and compute knowledge so efficiently and so effectively. Unlike our animal ancestors from whom we evolved, we can separate emotion from logic. We can suppress impulse with thought. We can reason. I fear, though, that people are losing touch with this magical gift and, as a result, are selling themselves far too short about just how smart we all really are. We all know that our country was founded on the tenets of freedom, liberty, and democracy. What many of us, unfortunately, do not realize is that in order for society to function, in order for democracy to work, every single person, not just the brightest, not just the richest, not just the oldest, but everyone must participate. Our very smart founding fathers knew that if everyone were to combine heads, we would almost always know the right thing to do. The basic function of democratic rule depends on all of our collective reasoning. The ability to combine our cognitive abilities is indeed one of the most beautiful talents of the human species. The problem is that collective reasoning has never been perfected in our 232-year experiment of democracy. The problem is that collective reasoning has never actually been used to make a single decision. The problem is that everyone, Every single person must participate. The problem is that everyone does not. Many of us going off to college next year plan to pursue a liberal arts degree. But what does liberal arts really mean? Well, the basic idea is that in undergoing liberal arts training, one receives a non-specialized education in topics relevant to society and is trained in the use of rhetoric and logic to think smartly and make reasoned decisions. Interestingly enough, the phrase liberal arts has absolutely nothing to do with politics. Rather, it stems from the Latin word, which I will likely mispronounce for you now, liber, meaning free. Thus, liberal arts translates into skills for the free man. And by free man, the scholars who coined the term meant an individual who is politically free, a citizen with voting rights. Put another way, liberal arts are the skills needed for the ruling class. Taken in this light, having a liberal arts education is exceedingly useful for those who rule. Our rulers must make decisions about topics that affect every aspect of life in society, and these decisions must be informed and well thought out as they affect us all. Our rulers' knowledge should be as broad as the breadth of human thought. So who is this ruling class in our society? Who are our rulers? If you're thinking Barack Obama, or perhaps our governors or congressmen, then you are only partially correct. In fact, we all have a say. We are all the collective reason that governs ourselves. We are all the ruling class. We aren't in a democracy, no. We are a democracy. While most of us may not technically receive a liberal arts degree as it has been defined by the ivory towers of American academia, we can almost certainly attain a liberal arts education on our own. We can read the newspaper over breakfast. We can talk to one another at the dinner table. We can go to the voting booth for every election. We can pay attention. By continuing this beautiful process of learning throughout our lives, by celebrating the remarkably human ability to not only satisfy our curiosity, but to create more of it. By reading and listening, by engaging and debating, by questioning and voting, we will all have the skills needed to live in a democracy, the skills needed to be the ruling class, the skills needed to be the class of 2009. Our third president also said that wherever people are well informed, they can be trusted with their own government, as there is no safe depository of the ultimate powers of society, but the people themselves. So today, promise yourselves now that we do not celebrate the end of our education. Today, we celebrate the beginning of the rest of it. Because once we stop learning, once we give up on the power of collective reasoning, once we let someone else rule us all, we will forever cease to be free. Thank you very much.